Albania has expelled Iranian diplomats over a cyber attack. Now, this is really a minor news story, but it may have strategic relevance for cybersecurity. So let's break this down a little bit. Back on July 15th, 2022, there were cyber attacks against Albanian government services and websites. Now, it took a while, but the attacks were eventually attributed to Iran. And Albania has now responded by expelling the diplomats and basically severing diplomatic relations. Follow on to that is the US has now sanctioned the Iranian intelligence agency, which was determined to be behind the attacks. Iran has publicly denied everything, which it normally does, but it's known for doing these types of activities. Now, on September 10th, not that long ago, another attack, and this against police systems that track border crossings for Albania, was attacked again by the same group. Okay, so why is this significant? Well, Albania, for the first time, has cut diplomatic ties and essentially told the diplomats, you have to leave. You have 24 hours to get out of the country. And so the Iranian diplomats had to leave. This is setting a precedent. This has never happened before. We've had countries when their critical infrastructure get attacked and there's finger pointing and there's saber rattling, but nothing really more. Some of the bigger countries out there may counterattack quietly, kind of as a Cold War thing. But this is the first time that a country has come out and said, because the attribution has been this other country, we're severing political ties. You diplomats from Iran, get out. And although that probably isn't a big crushing impact to Iran, and they can brush that aside, that again kind of sets a certain precedent that others may follow. And that could have major ramifications. And if we think about it, it doesn't really matter if your country's critical infrastructure is attacked by kinetic weapons or cyber weapons. The result can be the same. It makes them unavailable. And critical infrastructure is just that. It's critical. And Albania's response was bold in the sense that it had never been done before. And even just mild attacks against certain critical infrastructures, that can be crippling to a government. Now, these attacks that did happen, they were able to respond, get services back up and running, so it didn't bring the nation down, didn't take the banking sector out or anything like that. But it's telling because that country has said, enough. Enough. This is our critical infrastructure. This is our government. If your government is attacking our government, that's not okay. And we will react. So this, in effect, may lay the groundwork for other countries to take similar actions in the future when they're attacked, when their critical infrastructure, their government services, their national grids, their food supply and logistics, their communications infrastructure, all of those things are critical infrastructure. When they're attacked, they may respond in kind. And again, critical infrastructures are deemed critical, hence the name. So I think it is important, and I do believe we will see more countries degrade diplomatic status of attacking nations. And if we kind of roll that forward, I would expect groups of aligned countries to join together to do the same. Attack one, and all of them may start putting diplomatic pressure, may start pushing diplomats out. And the tier after that would likely be some type of economic sanctions if these types of bad behaviors continue against those who aren't already isolated, like North Korea. You can't do much to isolate them any further. But eventually, nation states working together, they could greatly limit the capabilities of offending countries. And maybe just down the line, years down, those coalitions may be able to start restricting connectivity of the internet from those offending countries. And that would take a lot more work. but I do think that's eventually in the cards. I'm going to be keeping an eye on these particular trends, and I'm interested to see how nation-state attackers from countries like China, North Korea, Iran, and Russia respond to this. As always, follow me on Cybersecurity Insights for more awareness, discussions, and so forth on strategic issues in cybersecurity. And if you've got some thoughts, if you think this is meaningful or it's not, please let me know in the comments.